Aw, look at us, aren't we cute? This was back in 2010, shooting our wedding engagement photos, going to Jamaica to get married, and on November 6th, celebrating those nuptials with family and friends. Those 13 years that would follow, we really never took a vacation that didn't involve the dogs. And for our lucky 13th anniversary, wanted to take her somewhere special. And, well, for the last 20 years of my life, the one place that she's talked about always wanted to be able to go was New York City. So I decided to surprise her with a 5-night stay at the Sheraton in Times Square. Luckily the flight was direct and got us in on time for a dusk transportation ride into the city. After getting in and putting our stuff away, we started to see the benefits of staying within probably about 300 yards from Times Square. We missed, unfortunately, this performance that was happening, but oh my gosh, it was pretty cool just walking to Times Square and then saying, alright, let's walk back, get ready for tomorrow. I think once you do something 3 times in a row, it's a tradition. So one of the traditions of our New York City adventure was eating breakfast at Times Square. And after Friday breakfast, we headed underground for Melissa's first trip on the New York City subway, which was far easier to navigate and use than it was about, 6 years ago when I was here last. So, me and my tactical Merce, I used to think they were ridiculous until, well, the functionality of having everything in front of you in a crowded environment is quite comforting, no matter what people think about you or your hoodie. Anyway, Melissa, the tactical Merce, and myself arrived in Soho so that she could look around for maybe something fun to wear to tonight's Broadway play. After a successful run at Soho, we subwayed back to Central Park, where we enjoyed our first cart meal. We got hot dogs, which were pretty good. We then proceeded to find ourselves in the second tradition, which was wandering around the park. After consuming all the energy from the concrete jungle that we would normally do every day in the morning, it was nice to really go walk around in nature, especially because it was essentially Central Park in fall, where thankfully on Friday we came across Bethesda Fountain and Terrace. This is amazing, because how can that not just warm your soul? We walked around Central Park just a little bit more before heading back to use the restroom, because that's the one thing we found out, that restrooms were a hard thing to come by. Those bicycle taxi dudes were quite hilarious. On Saturday, I would actually get offered a retro hoodie discount, bro. My hoodie was apparently giving him California beach blanket vibes. We got to the theater too early and fortunately had to go next door and get some pre-show cocktails. We indeed felt very overdressed. However, we weren't too sad that we chose to urinate before we got here, because there's only one bathroom per male and per female. The show, Chicago, though, was fantastic. I would highly recommend it. How do you know you're middle-aged? You take photos like this. Tradition number 3, our daily ingestion of Ray's Pizza. We tried 3 different ones, each one equally amazing. With Friday night being the only night we really had scheduled an event for, we woke up on Saturday and started the pedometer count, which every day but Sunday we racked up at least 30,000 steps, which was pretty awesome. The first stop on Saturday after having breakfast was going to be to find the tree. So the tree had apparently arrived earlier that morning because we heard all the hustle and bustle and the sirens. We weren't able to actually make it there for the putting up of the tree, but by the time we got there, the crane was still in position where it was trying to lower the tree in so that way they could start building the scaffolding. It was pretty cool to see the tree without all the extra stuff and lights and everything, basically as it was right as it was cut down. At some point that morning, I had found out that my phone had quote-unquote AI capabilities, so let's the side-by-sides here. Where should we go after the tree? Well, back to Central Park it is. This walk would though have more of a purpose as we were headed to the Met. So, funny story about the Met, you're not supposed to touch anything. Melissa and I had started in the Egyptian wing, and as we were walking in and through the tombs, I heard in the background, "Ma'am, can't touch that." And to be honest, I didn't even have to turn around to see who they were talking about. It was kinda cool to see I had good fashion sense back in the day. This big hall right here is not only a food court, but it's also act like a statue for social media hall. So once we had had our fill of people and culture for the day, we headed back into the subway down south to visit all of the memorials and things that were down in South Manhattan. And then fun enough, the day concluded by checking out the DeLorean from the Back to the Future Broadway show. Well, here we are Sunday. This is the day we kind of took it easy and took advantage of having the free tickets to the bus tour. Now, the bus tour was actually way cooler than I thought it was going to be because they told us all about the history of the city. As we went, we chose the downtown area, which was pretty awesome. And then, later that night, we had dinner at an okay place where I guess, pretended that I never poured a glass of wine before. I'm glad Melissa captured this because the walk to our hotel as we got closer was really pretty cool because they have all of these flowers that surround the entrance. And again, it's really cool. And here we are, the penultimate day of the vacation. After seeing the Empire State Building on the bus tour yesterday, we decided this is what we wanted to do today. Here we had two options. We could just only go to the 86th floor, which is kind of the normal outside look around, or we could go to the extra 102 floor, which was spectacular. Now it's time to head up to the 102nd floor and see what it's like from there. After our tour of the Empire State Building was done, we decided to just kind of meander through downtown, which led us back to the tree, which is pretty cool to see the scaffolding. We eventually found our way to what was probably the coolest eatery tavern place that we've been to the whole time, which is called Three Monkeys. We then proceeded to get comfortably sauced and then go buy some souvenirs, which included some good old 2024 glasses, which we got to hang out in Times Square before it got all crazy. Well, Tuesday morning, time to head home. So instead of grabbing a Lyft or a taxi or some kind of cab to the airport, I somehow convinced Melissa to take the subway from just literally right outside of our hotel all the way to Queens. And from where we popped out, we could have gotten on the free Q87 bus and then hit the airport. However, it was going to take a minute, so we ended up getting just a small lift from there to here, and then, well, headed home. In short, the trip was far more amazing than my narration or the photos could do it justice, and I really can't wait until we can find the next place to go get lost in.